Hey skincare nerds, welcome back and happy new year. Today we're gonna go really deep on an incredible skincare ingredient, salicylic acid. So as you guys know, I talk about salicylic acid a lot on my channel because it can help your skin in so many ways. It helps you shed off those dead skin cells, unclogs your pores, and reduces inflammation. So it's kind of a must-have if you get a few breakouts here or there, or if you have combo skin like me or oilier skin. But which one should you buy? So the good thing is that salicylic acid comes in many different formats and price points. The bad thing is that all of those options can be really confusing. So today we're gonna go over some of the most popular salicylic acid and BHA products, how to use it, how to prevent irritation, and how to pick the best one for your skin. Let's just quickly take a step back and talk about salicylic acid and BHAs. You're probably wondering, what's even the difference between salicylic acid and BHA? Well, salicylic acid is a BHA. Salicylic acid is also different from other exfoliating acids because it's oil soluble. It can go much deeper into your pores than water soluble acids like alpha hydroxy acids or AHAs. Basically, salicylic acid is going to be the best acid to help you unclog your pores, shrink the look of them, and controlling oiliness or even sebaceous filaments. It can break down dead skin cells and improve the tone and texture of your skin too. It's really great if you have closed comedones, blackheads, or a few breakouts, and it can help with hyperpigmentation too. It's also chemically similar to the active component in aspirin, so it decreases inflammation for both inflammatory and non-inflammatory acne. Since it can help dissolve excess sebum or oil, it's best if you have skin that's a little bit more on the oilier side. But that doesn't mean that you can't use BHAs if you have dry skin. I know that some of you have dry or sensitive skin and you still get some breakouts and you want to add salicylic acid into your routine. Don't worry, I got you covered in this video. So some side effects that you should be aware of is that it can cause some irritation, especially if your skin is dry or sensitive. It can cause some redness, peeling, and dryness, but I will talk about a few gentler options that might work better for you and how to minimize the irritation later on in the video. So another thing that could happen is that it could cause your skin to purge. Also, because salicylic acid is chemically similar to aspirin, you should probably avoid it if you're pregnant, just to be safe. And if you're recovering from a viral infection and you're under 18, then you should probably avoid it like you avoid aspirin, because you might be at greater risk of developing Ray's syndrome. Okay, so now you know everything about salicylic acid. Let's talk about all the different ways that you can work salicylic acid into your routine, starting with cleansers. So two of my favorite salicylic acid cleansers are the CeraVe Renewing SA Cleanser and the Inkey List Salicylic Acid Cleanser. I like salicylic acid in a cleanser format because it gets washed off, so it tends to be a bit gentler than a leave-on product. Okay, so I know that some of you might be thinking that it can't be effective if you're just washing it off, but there have been studies showing that it actually is still effective, and of course, I'll link those down below for you. Salicylic acid in a cleanser is also great if you want to keep your routine really minimal and you don't want to buy too many products. Let's start with the CeraVe cleanser. As you guys know, I talked about it in depth in my video covering all of the CeraVe cleansers. It's a foaming gel cleanser, it's fragrance-free, there's added niacinamide in it, and it's not stripping, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best for dry skin because it is a foaming gel-based cleanser. The only thing I don't really like about this product is that CeraVe doesn't actually disclose how much salicylic acid is in the formula because they say it's proprietary. And I mean, I get that this is one of their best-selling products and they don't want someone to just copy it, but I also think it's really important just to know what you're putting on your face. So CeraVe, if you're watching this video, come through for us. So I would recommend this cleanser for you if you have combo or oilier skin because it is a foaming gel-based cleanser, especially compared to the other CeraVe cleansers, but it isn't going to overdo it and strip your skin because it has hyaluronic acid and ceramides in it as well. So I mainly use this cleanser when I feel like my T-zone is getting a little too oily, especially in the summer. Next up, let's talk about the Inkey List Salicylic Acid Cleanser. Don't just think of this as like the plan B in case the CeraVe one is sold out. It could actually be even better for you if you do have oily skin and are more prone to breakouts because it's got added zinc in it. Zinc is a great ingredient because it helps reduce oiliness and inflammation. I also like that they're transparent about the fact that there's 2% salicylic acid in here. It's also a foaming gel-based cleanser and it foams up pretty well without sulfates. They've also added allantoin, a plant-derived moisturizer, into the formula, so it's not going to be too stripping. I recommend this cleanser for you if you do have oilier skin or you're dealing with some active breakouts. Otherwise, I think that this might be a little too drying for an everyday cleanser. So you basically apply them in the same way. You just wet your face with some lukewarm water, massage it in, and let it lather up. Then let it sit for a couple of minutes while you brush your teeth and you just wash it off with plenty of water. So in terms of frequency, you can definitely use them twice a day. You can use it morning and night, or if you have a different cleanser that you like to alternate with, feel free to use that as well. So overall, I think a salicylic acid cleanser is great for you if your skin is a little bit more sensitized or you don't want to buy too many products. Again, both of these cleansers are gel-based foaming cleansers, so they tend to be better for combo or oilier skin types. The Inkey List one is better if you are looking for oil control or if the CeraVe one is sold out. And the CeraVe one is gonna be better for you if your skin is more on the combo side, like my skin. Okay, so next up, let's talk about two of the most popular leave-on exfoliators. Leave-on exfoliators are great to have around, and I tend to reach for one whenever my closed comedones pop up. This one is one of my favorites and I've done an entire video about it. It's the Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. It is the most expensive out of all of the products I will talk about today. So I really like this because it's not too drying and it's my favorite product to use whenever I get closed comedones around my hairline or even on the back of my neck. I like to apply it at night and in the morning they just kind of get zapped away. So it is kind of watery in texture, but it's got a little bit of a slip to it, which really surprised me when I first used it. But I really like that there's no tackiness and I haven't had any issues with pilling, but because it can leave a bit of like an oil slick finish, if you have balanced skin and you want to look really dewy, this would be a better pick for you than the cleansers. But if you have super oily skin, that look might be a little too shiny for you, at least for the daytime. And also, if you're sensitive to fungal acne, this might not be the best product for you because it does have polysorbate 20 in it. Okay, so let's move on to my K-beauty pick of the bunch, the Cosrx BHA Blackhead Power Liquid. In Korea, salicylic acid above 0.5% is available by prescription only. So actually, a lot of Korean manufacturers use BHA alternatives. The downside is that there aren't really that many studies done on those alternatives. The active ingredient in here actually isn't salicylic acid, it's 4% betaine salicylate, which is derived from sugar beets. So you're probably wondering, is it as effective? It is hard to say because there's really only one study out there and it actually comes from the ingredient manufacturer. But I am mentioning this product because it is thought to be a lot gentler and a lot less sensitizing than salicylic acid. So if you have very sensitive skin or you're afraid of the side effects of salicylic acid or you've overexfoliated before, this is the best one of the list for you. I also like that there's only 10 ingredients in here, and in general, I really like that Korean formulations try and pack in the ingredients. They've even substituted out the plain old water in here with willow bark water instead. The finish of this is more of a hydrated finish, not like an oily dewy one like the Paula's Choice. So you can also try this out if you want something less intense and you're just starting out with salicylic acid, or if salicylic acid is restricted where you live. But if you're looking for something to help with your stubborn breakouts, I wouldn't recommend this to you. I would recommend you use one of the other products I talk about instead. So as for how to apply it, you apply them in the exact same way, and you can use them both in the morning and or at night. After washing your face, just apply a little bit of this over the areas where you need it. Like for me, it's around my hairline, T-zone, and just pat it in with your fingers if you want to save product, or pour it onto a reusable cotton pad and either pat or swipe it if you need a little bit more exfoliation. So after I apply it, I like to wait for it to dry and like really sink in. So I'll change into my PJs and maybe brush my teeth before I apply the next step in my routine, like my moisturizer. Next up, exfoliating pads. Okay, we have to talk about Stridex. Honestly, I didn't even want to buy this product in the beginning because it's a product I absolutely would hate. There's menthol in it, it's fragranced, it's not environmentally friendly, and I'm also just not vibing with the packaging. But somehow it also just seems to work really well, and I know it's a Reddit favorite, so I feel like I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't even mention it at all, especially since it is budget friendly. It's got 2% salicylic acid in it, and it's really cheap at under $5. But it is heavily fragranced, and like not in a nice, fresh way. Honestly, it smells like something your grandma would have on her shelf. Another thing I should mention with this product is because there is some menthol in it, it can leave your skin with like a little bit of a cooling or tingling sensation. One thing I really don't like about it is that these pads are one-time use, so it's not the best for the environment, but it can be convenient, and it's also fungal acne friendly. I do like that it doesn't really leave a finish or a film on your skin, so it absorbs pretty easily. Overall, if you do have oilier skin that isn't sensitive and you're looking for a cheaper product with salicylic acid in it, or you've tried other products I've mentioned and you really just haven't seen any results, this might be the one for you. In terms of how to apply it, I'd recommend cutting this in half and patch testing with it first. So after you wash your face, just apply a little bit of this over the areas where you need it. And if that's your whole face, apply it over your whole face. Pat it in or swipe it if you need a little bit more exfoliation. Just wait for it to dry before applying anything else on top, like your moisturizer. So the last product I wanted to talk about is another budget-friendly product, The Ordinary's Salicylic Acid 2% Masque. The Ordinary used to have a salicylic acid serum that I know some of you love. The good news is that they're actually currently reformulating it. Decium's head scientist did an AMA on Reddit where he said that they're working on a 0.5%, a 1%, and a 2% version of it, which is great because they're taking into account different skin types. So I can't wait for that. And of course, when they launch, I will be trying to get my hands on that and reviewing it for you guys. But for now, they do have this salicylic acid mask, which honestly I think is a little underrated. So it has a clay base as well as the 2% salicylic acid. Clay is very absorbent. So if oil control is something that you're looking for in your skincare products, this will go really deep in those pores and absorb all that oil, making it great if you do want to reduce the look of your pores or if you have sebaceous filaments. So should you buy this mask? I will say that it can be drying and irritating as well, so I would recommend it if you do have oilier areas on your skin and your skin isn't overly sensitive. So to apply, after you finish cleansing your face, pat your skin dry and definitely apply this onto dry skin because it will be less irritating. Leave this on for a maximum of 10 minutes before you rinse it off with lukewarm water. So this will also tingle a bit, and that's totally normal. So if you are introducing this into your routine, I wouldn't use any of the other salicylic acid products I've mentioned in this video, like the cleanser or the leave-on exfoliants, because it can be really drying, especially with the added clay in here. Let's go through how to actually add them into your routine. I know you guys have a ton of questions on that, so don't worry, I got you. The best way to prevent any issues with any new product is to always patch test. All you have to do is just apply it to a small part of your face where you will be using your new salicylic acid product. And after the patch testing goes well, introduce it very slowly into your routine. I'd start with like twice a week and then slowly increasing how often you use it. Other than if you're using the salicylic acid mask, That I would only use maximum 2 times a week, but just start with once a week first. That way you can really minimize how much of a reaction you're gonna have if you are gonna have a reaction to that product. It can also help prevent over exfoliating, which is when your skin can get red, peely, or dry and oversensitized, which you obviously don't want. The last thing you should remember when you are adding a BHA into your routine is to don't forget to moisturize and don't forget that sunscreen. I do talk about waiting some time after applying your salicylic acid product before the next step in your routine, and I wanted to nerd out on that really quickly. And the reason why I tell you guys that is because salicylic acid needs an acidic environment to work, and the thinking is that if you use a moisturizer that's not as acidic and you put it on top, that might affect the effectiveness of your salicylic acid product. The thing is though, there isn't that much research on that. It's just kind of like a theory right now, but I don't think waiting is a really big deal, especially if you're gonna spend $30 on a product. You kind of want it to work, so I like to let it sink in and do its thing. A lot of you guys have asked me if you can use the CeraVe cleanser with the Paula's Choice BHA right after. So in general, I would recommend against combining more than one exfoliator in your routine, unless you have a lot of experience with exfoliators and you know your skin can handle it. I personally wouldn't combine a salicylic acid cleanser with a BHA or an AHA leave-on exfoliant in the same routine. You can try instead alternating these morning and night. So if you do have really stubborn blackheads or acne and you're using one of these products already and you're just finding that it's really not doing enough for you, there are other actives that you might want to look into, like benzoyl peroxide or retinoids. Maybe it's also time to see a dermatologist if you have access. And that leads me to my next point, which is to make sure that you have realistic expectations about what BHAs can do for you. So you should expect to see a positive difference in your skin. That, by the way, is not the same thing as your skin looking perfect and exactly how you want it to look. Just because someone else has reviewed a product and said it's a complete miracle, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna see the same level of results. Whew. Okay, so that was a really long video. Let's just do a quick recap. As you know by now, salicylic acid products come in lots of different forms, from cleansers to leave-on exfoliants to exfoliating pads to masks. And which one you should buy really depends on what your skin's needs are and what skin type you have. So the Paula's Choice and the Cosrx leave-on exfoliants are best for drier skin types, with the Cosrx being the best one for sensitive skin, while the CeraVe and the Inkey List cleansers are great for combo and oilier skin. And the Stridex exfoliating pads and the ordinary Masque are for non-sensitive skin that needs something a little bit more intense. It also comes down to what you actually prefer and what you'll actually use. So we all like the idea of a weekly mask, but like, are you actually going to use it every week? Or do you just want to have a really minimal routine you can follow every day? Because that would probably be the cleansers. Or are you the type to like to play it by ear and you want a salicylic acid option to rotate in and out of your routine as you need it? If so, the leave-on exfoliators are probably best for you. It also might be helpful to pick up a couple different ones so you can switch up your routine depending on how your skin is feeling that day. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope this video was helpful for you. And if it was, don't forget to give your girl a like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any more informative skincare videos like this one. See you next time.